Yeah, Todd, nah. Oh shit, I brought the wrong one. Okay, do you want to be Todd tomorrow then? Okay, do you want to be Todd today or Todd tomorrow? Alright. So, Todd, okay, what was the performance gap that triggered the decision for FC classes?
Hoe ernstig wil jy moet ek wees? Just it was here when I got here. I don't know.
Okay.
Nee, ek bedoel soos hoe sou jy dit antwoord gehad het? Want dit was hier van dat hy hier is, nee?
Okay. We'll say it's been years since he arrived.
Ja. Die intervention is al hier van dat hy coordinator geword het.
Has it? I don't remember us having FC. I'll come back to that.
Ons het definitief, ek was 2020 hier gewees.
I didn't have FC because I was the lowest in grade 5 and I just had A levels. We didn't have lower than A.
Wat het my song gegee? Sy moes iets gegee het. Wat het Jin Jong was home teacher geweest, dink ek hier vorige jaar. Maar my song, van het ek hier is, was daar FC geweest. Okay. Dit was heel moontlik nie FC vir Reach nie, dit was net FC vir LBE. Want daar was net gegooi, ons kan net gou ons feite reg. Ons het Reach en LBE, right? LBE se FC was nog altyd daar geweest, is dit nie?
But okay, anyway. Like the program, is there a specific design different from the usual LBE classes? Like for FC class?
From the top of my head, die eerste ding wat ek sou sê wat different sou is, what's different is, are you recording? So
yeah.
Speaking English. Okay. So the first thing that I would say is that classroom sizes need to be, our school already has like big classroom sizes, right? And for that reason, we needed to make a class that is smaller in size so that the kids can get more individual attention.
Okay.
Secondly, that class is isolated with more Korean assistance because our students are more proficient in Korean than in English. And those classes are usually taught, but not limited to, by Korean teachers that are proficient in English.
Was there like so there was no framework, was there like a framework?
What do you mean by framework?
Like the curriculum, was there like a specific curriculum designed just for the FC, or was it just a matter of scaling it down?
So I think it's very important to understand, I'm going to try to, we've always had level classes, right? We've always had level classes. There were always an A, B, C, a D, and an E level. And then A, B, C, D, E. And then they decided, okay, well, there are kids that really need extra help.
Yeah.
So we need to make it a smaller class, like we just said. They need Korean assistance. They might even need TAs, because like some of the kids need TAs. Then those kids are usually more inclined to have like behavioral problems or not being supported at home.
not necessarily financially viable to go to Hagwons and those kind of things, come from multicultural families where Vietnamese is even like the first language. So in this case, like the framework was always there in terms of being leveled, but there was like an additional level needed for like exactly what foundation stands for, like the students that really need that basic foundation, because not all of our students are directly from Vietnam. We also accept students that come from Korea that might have zero English ability, and they identified that as one of the things that we need in order for us to kind of like help those students.
Hello.
So even though if you're talking about framework, the framework of being leveled was always there. But I think the intervention came specifically because they said, listen, there are kids that us as like native English teachers, we don't have the skills and the capability and the communication line to those kids that have like, I'm talking about like Yun Heng in my class that can not say a word of English.
What criteria did you use to select subjects, grade levels, and teachers involved?
Well, the criteria comes from the school. So when it comes to like, we talk about teachers, right?
Yeah.
Teachers should be proficient in Korean, and they should also be proficient in English. So that is
like a requirement from the school, but also basically from the Korean government, because like the Korean teachers get employed by the Korean government. The school also has to follow the Korean government lines. In terms of choosing the subjects, initially I'm going to go with what you said. Initially we didn't have we had the framework of being leveled. Then we expanded it to LBE, where we added an FC class for LBE. Because LBE serves as the building blocks for students to gain confidence in speaking with their like level peers, so that when they go back to Reach class they can actually use it. However, we then identified that it is also necessary for our subjects. Back then we had math, science, SD, and social studies, and it expanded to those subjects. But then the curriculum changed again, and that was like a whole school evaluation, and we brought it back to only be for Reach. These days, because of budget concerns and constraints and enrollment issues with grade 1 and 2 and 3, we have gotten rid of Reach foundation class for grade 6, for grade 5, and for grade 4. It has to do with budget.
Okay.
En ek gaan nie in Afrikaans sê, hou dit net in gedagte, maar ek bedoel, weet nie, jy kan dit dalk wil noem of nie wil noem nie, maar dit is 'n realiteit. Ons is besig om terug te sny. En die rede hoekom hulle terugsny is omdat hulle wil nie te veel graad 3, 1 en 2 klasse hê nie. Dit is net 4 klasse. As gevolg daarvan moes ons teachers gekat het. En om daarvan is al dis budget en wat ek al. Jy kan dit insit. Dit is 'n goeie ding. So we're trying our best, but we're also facing the budget issues.
Number 4, how did you structure the initial training and professional development for teachers? Okay. How did you structure the initial training and professional development for teachers tasked with executing FC? Just like Korean teachers.
The Korean teachers handle that. That is handled by the Korean Department of Education. Usually these teachers need to be, and dis ek ook vir jou gesê, ek dink dis beter as jy dalk met hierdie ou onderpraat, want hy doen LSEM actually.
Oh shit.
Dan kan jy by hom hoor of hulle, want hy moet train to be an LSEM teacher. You need training for it. But I'm
I did
pretty
expect her to, she said they don't get training.
en ja, maar soos die ou wat hier onder is, kry daarvoor. Hulle kry. And the whole point is, what I'm trying to tell you is like, for Dion, for Miss Song, for Miss Toy, or Miss Che, or Jay, they didn't get any training for it. They were put in that position and be like, this is the class that's left, you need to teach it, you're the Korean teacher, you can speak Korean, you can help them better than the native English speakers. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to lie about it, we can say like, oh yeah, they went for... But if you want to become an LSEM teacher like this dude there, he has to get training for it. If you want to become an LSEM I think they call it SEND in in Afrikaans it's LSEM. Learners with something. If you want to get that kind of, if you want to be that kind of teacher, you need to get that kind of training. It's a different. You'll get your PGCE in a different direction. So it's worth mentioning there. Just like, listen, the reality is like these teachers are not getting the training, but we kind of like slow down the pace of teaching the material. We're not forcing the teachers to teach all of the material, because like for some of these kids, like just basic tasks like retention. Like I saw today, I had like speaking tests today with my kids, and we were practicing like I have to blah 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 blah. I sometimes have to blah 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 blah, and it was like retention was like 50% maybe, and they're not even FC.
What baseline metrics or quantitative indicators are you tracking to determine the overall success of the intervention?
We're not. The only thing that we're tracking at this point in time is year by year we take the diagnostic test. That's the only tracking mechanism that we have. In the past, homeroom teachers could track as well and could recommend students to move up a level, move out of FC and move down other students that they deemed. So maybe it's worthwhile saying here is like we rely on homeroom teachers' feedback as well, because obviously these kids go to FC for LBE, but they don't go to FC for their homeroom anymore. So homeroom teachers can be a good source of feedback. Teacher recommendation, homeroom teacher recommendation, because it's whenever they go back to their homerooms, like the homeroom teacher might identify a student that might need to move up or down. That happened to me one year with Torim and T1, where Torim definitely wasn't FC and T1 was, and I fought with Ms. Im Chong-Soo and I worked together and we switched them. And it was blood, sweat, and tears, and we had to fight with parents, and we had to fight with like management, and eventually we got it done, and it was the best decision that we could have made.
I don't think this is, but anyway, how have you addressed issues of digitally equity, ensuring all students have adequate devices and internet access at home?
I think our school is in a very unique position. I think 90% of kids have access at home to computers, internet, etc. This is usually tracked by the Korean homeroom teachers because the students have to get an email address, they have to use ClassTing, they have to use ClassTing AI, and that gives the homeroom teacher very good feedback in terms of what kind of devices they have, what kind of services they can use and access. With ClassTing AI, in the past we used Google Classroom as well, but now we changed to ClassTing AI. I think it's just ClassTing and ClassTing AI, but that gives a very good feedback to the Korean homeroom teachers, and that's usually just tracked by the Korean homeroom teachers, never by the native English speakers.
Okay. What has been the biggest administrative and logistical hurdles in sustaining this intervention?
Geef my die vraag weer.
What has been the biggest administrative or logistical hurdles in sustaining the intervention?
Finances, we're scaling down, literally.
But for FC?
Even FC, like we said, we expanded. We didn't have FC, then we added FC for LBE, then we added FC for Reach, and now we are scaling down again because of finances, because we don't have enough. Ons gaan nou 'n bietjie jok hierso, but we don't have enough enrollments. It's not really true. They are doing it for a very good reason. They're not taking all the grade 1s and 2s because they're shit. We want to expand like a grade 5 and a grade 6 class, then we get better quality students. This is main yo. But you can mention like financials. Parents are not able to pay money, like the social economical hurdles comes from an administrative task because like budgets get cut, teachers get cut. There's not cohesiveness in terms of how tests are conducted.
No cohesiveness.
So, kan ek gou vir die oorhoofstuk gee? So, as 'n kind in graad 3 gediagnoseer is vir FC, gaan hy heel 10-10-1 vir die res van sy lewe in FC bly. The strategy that they're using for determining the levels, maybe not for FC, but for levels in the past, this was the first year where the kids actually leveled down, so maybe it changed. But in the past, like if you were level 3, Big English 3, then next year you're Big English 4, Big English 5, Big English 6. The system, the administrative system in that term is, that's a hurdle. I think from admin kant of what can be another hurdle.
When you say, can you just explain to me the financial constraints based on just LBE FC again?
If we have less budget, we can't employ teachers who can. Kyk gou hierso. Ons sit 30 kinders in hierdie klas, 30 kinders in hierdie klas, 30 kinders daar en dan maak ons die FC klein. Right? Why is the FC small? It's to give extra attention to them, give like a Korean teacher to them. But if you take that extra teacher away, then you're taking all the classes and you're making all of them bigger, including the FC class.
Also,
I mean, then you're technically taking the foundation back out and you're just making it an A-level class, a normal A-level class. Does it make sense?
yeah.
Then we're going back to where we were before we had FC.
Also, because there's no exit strategy for those kids in the middle of the year because the classes are
Fixed.
fully booked and fixed.
Yeah. And constraints, like in terms of moving, it's like one of the biggest constraints we have is parents. Parents don't want their kids to move down. So if you have a kid, if B level or A level for that matter is a full class, and one of the FC kids has to exit, where do they go? Do you swap them? Do you move them out and make the other class too big and then unnecessarily make that chain of like popping too many kids up to the top level? It's like it's a budget constraint in the end, and it's also maybe a curricular. Because like if our classrooms, if we had more teachers and we had like 20 kids in a class, this is easy. It's like you add one more kid, that's fine. But now you have 35 or 36 kids in the class. You pop one more in, the class becomes unmanageable. But you see, it's a very tricky part that you have to like navigate there, because like if it's manageable in your homeroom when they are there, but LBE is different because like we already have that extra class to extract 15 students to make our classes smaller, right? But again, like it's going to become clear when you see like, and you cannot make the FC class too big.
You cannot, there's no money to employ more FC teachers.
Exactly.
Okay.
And unfortunately, en dit is nou tussen my en jou,
Ja.
daar's te veel. In graad 5 kan ons 2 FC klasse. Honestly.
Jy weet hoe hulle sê dat wat co-teaching gedoen word, né? Kan dit nie part van die hulle ure, waar hulle ure inkry nie.
Sien hulle teach nie. Ja. Dis 'n goeie voorstel. In steede van om dit saam met Reach te sit hulle saam met LBE.
Ja.
Dis met alle eerlikheid, dit gaan 'n beter opsie wees. Sit hulle saam met die LBE teachers. Die Reach teachers kan op hulle eie werk. Doen in elk geval niks hier agter.
Nee, dis nie eens waar nie.
Nee, maar ek hoor wat jy sê, jy het 'n bly goeie idee. Soos bring hulle in die LBE klas in. Sê vir hulle, hoor hierso luister, ek het nodig dat hierdie kinders daai 5 sinne moet sit en leer en hulle moet dit memoriseer. Kyk dit practice dit saam met hulle. Gaan vir hulle meer beteken as ek hulle hier agter sit en ons doen Reach en die kinders verstaan in elk geval boggerel wat jy sê. Met alle eerlikheid, ek het weer gesien om die open klas ook, soos die comments mens kry, soos kinders verstaan. Ons dink hulle verstaan. Dink.
How do you facilitate communication and collaboration between FC teachers and mainstream homeroom teachers? There isn't.
Al daai vrae. Jy ken al die antwoorde van al daai vrae, right? Daar's geen kommunikasie nie. Dink jy hy doen enigiets? Okay, maar sien dit nou van Gion se kant af, want onthou nou, sy is eintlik die koördineerder, né? As jy dit mooi daarin gedink, Todd is net, hy kry net die pyn. Hy doen niks nie. So Gion, jy moet eintlik nou maar Miss Joy of Miss Jessa se antwoorde vat, want she's the one, sy is die een wat moet koördineer met daai en met wat ek al, dit word alles deur die Koreaanse onderwysers gedoen. Dit word nie deur die Engelse koördineerder gedoen nie. Kan ek jou gou vra, dink jy nie jy moet ook vir, sê nou soos vir daai of
I am going to on Monday.
vra daai vraag. Oh.
But like, well, I already answered it, but also again, like with the other LBE teachers, there's no...
There's nothing. No communication. I do not even know what they do in the class. And what frustrates me the most is like, it's like been FC for 5 years now. You couldn't even write his own name. So that I'm asking, like, what is the point? Isn't ABC the point of the foundation, right?
No more. Okay. Based on the data, like the level tests and stuff, and the feedback collected so far, what major adjustments have you made since the launch?
Todd, nee?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
Ek is jammer, ek kan nie vir jou beter antwoorde gee nie, want
No,
because the reality is ons doen nie enige van hierdie werk. Jy hoef niks te doen. Hy hoef nie dit te evalueer nie. Hy hoef nie te kyk of het goed of sleg is nie. Hy hoef net te kyk of het sy pyn eintlik nie maak. Dis al wat hy hoef.
So it's basically as long as the intervention is running, no one really checks if it's working or not.
Die enigste terugvoer wat ons wel kan kry partykeer is either van die FC teacher af. Soos Ms. Che het my gesê, daar's 'n kind wat in jou graad 2 klas is, sy wil kyk hoe dit gaan met hom. Sy naam is Doha. Sê vir haar, hy doen baie goed, sy sê, sy's bly hy het gelevel up.
Ja.
Maar dis onderwyser wat omgee.
Ja.
Dis dieselfde soos ek wat met Sorim en wat ook al, soos 'n onderwyser wat omgee gaan na toe kom en kyk en sê, hoe gaan dit met die kind in die klas? Right? Die tweede plek waar daar terugvoer gegee word is ouers. My kind is nie in die FC klas wees nie. En daai Doha, sy ma het gister na my toe gekom, toe praat sy met my toe sê vir haar, sê hy doen baie goed. Hy kan opbeweeg, maar hy sal nog hard moet werk. Toe sê sy vir my, baie dankie vir die terugvoer. Die ouers kom na jou toe en vra vir jou. Ouers gee vir jou baie keer terugvoer. Maar van tot se kant af kan ek jou nou wil sê, daar's nie of daar nou kan ek met jou dood eerlik wees en ek wil nie eintlik hierdie op die rekord hê nie.
Ja,
As dit van hulle afgehang het, dan het hulle daai klas 30 kinders ingesit in die FC. Vir watter rede? Hulle kan mos Koreaans praat. Hulle kan hulle beheer. Ons klasse is te groot. Dis soos, okay, maar wag nou. Nou vat jy die tot nog kakste kinders in 'n klas. Dis hoekom Jongop en Julie mental issues gehad het. Dis die mentaliteit waarop dit gebaseer word. Dis soos jy klaar wat 37 kinders in jou klas het, okay, al word 3 uitgehaal, 34 kinders in 'n klas. Dis nog hanteerbaar. Vat 20 kinders wat die hele dag skree, skop, slaan, nie stil kan sit nie, goeters gooi, wat ook al. En onthou daai tyd het toe 'n sang nog hier was en ek dink jy wat ook al, het hulle vir 'n dubbelperiode gehad. Ek het hierdie klas nou vir 'n dubbelperiode. Na die eerste periode is dit nie meer lekker nie, hoor. Maar die toets baie uitgestrek het vandag, sodat ons môre nog die movie kan klaarmaak. Maar dit is regtig nie lekker om hulle vir 'n dubbelperiode te hê nie. So ek moet hulle braai, soos ek jou altyd gesê het, soos eerste periode leer ons en tweede periode is bloek het. En dan as hulle nie hard werk hier nie, kry hulle nie die bloek het. Dis die enigste manier waarop ek hulle kan motiveer. En ek kan vir jou waarborg, as gaan gee hulle vir 'n Koreaanse onderwyser gaan dieselfde wees. al verskil is met die Koreaanse onderwysers. As jy bang met die beter kan.
Okay, this is the last question, Jan, but I also have a question. This is the last question, Jan, is what is the long-term vision for this program regarding scaling or permanent integration?
It's already permanently integrated. So ons het nie nodig, die intervention bestaan al vir 'n rukkie. En die doel was gewees om dit oor die hele skool te doen vir elke vak. Kan ek gou vir jou, voordat jy nou skryf, ek net gou jy moet hier na luister. Hierdie program is al geïntegreer met REACH. Van hulle is nou al weggeval, né? LBE, Science, Korean Science. Korean, nee, weet nie. Ek mag ook verkeerd sê Korean Science, maar Korean Math. Korean Vietnamese. Nou daai Vietnamese klasse daar onder wat klein is. So hierdie ding word geskuil. Onthou, hy begin met ek dink ons het begin met ons dit doen jy by die Koreane. Maar gaan kyk net watter een van daai het hulle begin. Ek dink hulle het begin met Korean Math. Of hulle het dalk begin met LBE. Kan op een wees. En hy is nou geskuil na REACH toe. Die orde moet jy nou net gaan kry. Toe hy geskuil na Korean Math toe, na Korean toe en na Vietnamese toe. Maar ongelukkig REACH het nou weggeval as gevolg van budget. As ek dood eerlik met jou kan wees, moenie net LBE insit nie. As jy goeie punte wil kry, maak seker jy sit 'n bietjie Korean Math in. Bietjie Korean, die Sejong dan. Daar's 'n Vietnamese klas, een klasse hier onder, daar's 2 klasse daar wat hulle ekstra klasse mee doen. Daar's 'n klas wat Heson, jy kan met Heson ook praat, sy gee ons die ekstra klasse. So Vietnam, dis geskuil van LBE af na Korean Math, na Korean, na Vietnamese, na REACH en ek dink daar's nog ander vakke ook. So die long-term vision is om dit vir die hele skool te kan gebruik, maar dit is nie, ons het nie die finansies, huidiglik struikel ons met finansies.
Now my question. Is this intervention working?
Die intervention is om al die, soos 'n tronk. Sit die kinders in die tronk. Die ander kinders leer.
Hoe kom sê jy dit werk? Hoe kom sê jy dit werk?
Ek sou sê dit werk vir graad 1 en 2. Graad 1 en 2 het 2 FC klasse net so terloops tussen my en jou. Dit werk vir graad 1 en 2 want dit is waar die kinders die meeste receptable is vir interventions. Susceptible. Maar as het, ek gee dit nou net vir jou uit my oogpunt uit van hierdie jaar. Ek gee dit uit my oogpunt van hierdie jaar want onthou ek gee nou regtig vir die kakste kinders klas hierso. My graad 2 kinders kan regtig hulle ek sien hoe hulle beter word.
But is that because of you teaching them or because of the FC teaching?
Maar ek het nee, maar onthou nou, hulle is ook die ek is een leveltjie bo FC. So vat dit nou kom ons veronderstel daar was nou nie 'n FC klas gewees. Right? So een leveltjie bo FC en ek is een leveltjie bo FC. So kom ons maak my nou die FC teacher. Vir graad 2 en graad 1 kan ek sien dat die kinders beter word. As jy vir hulle ekstra jy laat hulle oefen en jy gee vir hulle ekstra oefeninge en jy want hulle wil nog leer. Ouer die kinders word hoe minder begin dit werk.
Maar ook miskien werk dit net met jou klas van die ander teachers doen dit nie soos jy dit.
Kan wees, maar okay, wat ek probeer sê is soos dit voel vir my so of as hulle hier by graad 4 kom dan is hulle soos ag ons is die dom klas. Ons gaan die dom klas bly en dan begin dit so half pelly te word en hulle wil so half by hulle pelle wees so soos Minsu en Namhyang wil by mekaar wees. So en Minsu kan eintlik goed Engels praat. Maar weet jy hoekom doen hy nie? Want hy wil saam met Namhyang wees en nou kan hy hulle in saam kak maak in die klas. En bitter min van my kinders. Ek het soos van ek het 2 kinders in my klas wat genuine wil beter raak. Die ander kinders kan nie omgee nie.
But it's also the parents.
Ja. Absoluut. Ek het vandag het ek 'n punt bereik want ek het nou Subin het my toe kom toe begin sy eers sê daar so praat sy met my en begin sy eers praat oor van sy wil as ek sê hallo en ek sê van hoorie hallo is in die Philippines is dit nou dis was dessert sê 'n bietjie van Mr. en hy begin sy met my so vlot te praat. En toe praat ons oor sê ek van ja maar jy moet nou net nie vir my so Mr. en hy sê hy moet dit môre vir jou gaan kry nie want sy sê ja van die vliegtuigkaartjies is so duur en sy kan vlot praat. Sy wil in hierdie klas wees en sy kry nie die ondersteuning nie en sy wil nie bietjie maar toe het ek 'n punt bereik wat ek vir haar gesê het presies so. Hier is die toets. Daar's 3 levels. Hier is level 1, level 2, level 3. Ek dink jy kan volpunte kry. Kry sy volpunte. Sy net soos all smiles, maar dis net soos jy kan soms sien sy net happy. Maar dan praat ek met ander onderwysers.
Also, like, I've seen, like you said, the kids come from FC in grade 3 and they go to FC in grade 4 and then they go to FC in grade 5 and then they...
Ons het 'n groot probleem, ekskuus as ek interject,
Yeah.
met en hulle het ons nou probeer ontslaa raak daarvan van levels.
Ja.
Maar die kinders weet. Almal vra vir wie begin die 6 die hoogste level?
Ja.
Die kinders weet. Dis waar ek amper gesê het soos wat Choi voorgestel het van dieselfde boek, maar jy teach dit in 3 verskillende differentiations. Soos jy teach, kom ons sê, jy kan nou maar op ander maniere, maar dis net om dit te visualiseer. Al 20 units, jy doen hierso 15 units en jy doen hierso 10 units en jy doen net 5 units.
Ja.
Of jy doen net die grammar of jy doen net die storie of wat ek al so iets.
So wat jy sê, Susie, omdat dit geleveld is, gee die kinders nie juist om nie.
Die omdat hulle die domste kinders is. Hulle het nie gemotivering om op te beweeg regtig nie. Hulle is soos ons is nou klaar die dom klas. En sê ek weet nie hoe hierdie gaan translate nie, maar there's nothing more demotivating sitting in a homeroom class listening to a reach period where a teacher is teaching and you do not understand a word. Eventually it sounds like white noise. I experienced it firsthand. I went to Chinese class every single day in China, weekday. And like, if she starts talking and it's all in Chinese, like eventually it's just like you tune out. You do not understand a word. So then I was sitting there on my own and I was just studying my own words, writing my own things, but I dedicated that time to study. And the kids don't have that discipline to take that time and to say like, listen, this is actually important. What happens to your kids, your FC kids in class? They tune out. Some of them sleep. At least in my class, like I have like 2 or 3 kids that just fall asleep. And now you're demotivated because like a Subin kan vlot praat hier. Kom sy in die meisklas. Ons nie 'n woord. Nie 'n single woord nie. Want die ander kinders oor dom onder hulle. Ons het hierdie kultuur nou vir julle vertel. Hierdie kultuur van ouers wat met mekaar kompeteer. Ek het 2 nuwe kinders in my klas. Kan nie nou hulle name sê nie. 2 nuwe kinders in my klas. Die een kom van Korea af, die ander een kom van SSI, nie SSI, BIS af. Kom, nou dit was verlede week die ouer meetings gehad. Toe kom die ene wat van Korea afkom, want hulle is nou vriende. Toe praat sy so, toe sê sy, maar sy kan nou net nie met hierdie ander ene, sy Engels is so goed, en sy, toe sê sy vir my dieselfde ding, sy het concern, want sy Engels is nie goed genoeg nie, wat ek altyd. luister hierso. Dis dag en nag. Die een ou kom van Korea af. Waar hy nie regtig, hulle het 1 periode Engels in 'n week, of 2 periodes in 'n week. Die ander een was by BIS. Wat elke dag sy wiskunde, sy wetenskap, sy wat ek al opdragte in Engels moes doen. Hy het die wiskunde kompetisie gewen, hy was Shanghai toe gewees en dit in Engels gaan aanbied. Nou kompeteer die ouers met mekaar. En dan word so afgedruk by onderwyser ook en wat ek al, dis is nie. Die ouers maak dit regtig bitter moeilik vir ons kinders ook. Dis dit baie druk op die kinders. Dan raak jou goeie kinders raak baie goed. Kinders wat se ouers baie betrokke is, raak baie goed in Engels. Dan kry jy jou multicultural, ek is nou nie limited toe nie, maar kry jy nou jou multicultural families, en dan kinders kry nie die support by die huis nie. Yunheng en sy suster Yohori, Male is nie eens in Vietnam nie, hulle bly by die ouma hulle, of by die tannie hulle, ek is nie een van die twee. Dan bly hulle hierso, dan hulle geen ouma. Die hele punt is dit, en ek kan vir jou dit sê van Suid-Afrika af, en ek kan dit vir jou sê van kinders wie se ouers betrokke is, doen goed op skool. Kinders wie se ouers nie betrokke is nie, hardly ever excel. En wat ek daarmee probeer doen en sê is, dalk kan jy jou foundation klas so bietjie met 'n ander perspektief ook inrig en sê, die foundational klas is om hierdie kinders wat nie die ondersteuning by die huis kry, so half te help. Ek weet nie, as daar nog 'n angle nodig is. Want ek kan jou waarborg, gaan kyk 'n bietjie, vra 'n bietjie vir, then again, like die foundation, die jonger kinders is anderster. Vra van Gary, hier's 'n ding vir jou research. Ons het nou graad 1 FC, ons het graad 2, so FC. Graad 3 FC. Graad 4, 5 en 6. FC.